Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the RWT podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and I'm joined as always by the RWT dead man himself, Paul Morales, and the one, the only Mr. Daniel Crimmins. Boys, it is a week of wrestling. There is a lot to talk about when it comes to Raw,
when it comes to pay-per-views from the AEW side with Revolution, and all in all, we are in for a treat when it comes to the world of professional wrestling. So I figured we start because this one has been gaining a lot of traction over the last few days, and we're talking about that boy Ricochet. Aha! So here is what happened in the world of Mr. Trevor Man himself, Ricochet. We'll start it off like this. All right, so he responded to a fan, woman by the name of Sandy T. Now, if you look at her screenshot, this woman is loving her Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but she's trying not to let my MS control her life. So she had in a now deleted tweet by Ricochet, commented back and pretty much saying his acting hasn't improved with laughing emojis. Very partisan, very just fun, taking the piss, joking when it comes to Ricochet. You know what I'm saying? Like any fan does, having some fun. And Ricochet, out of his dome piece, thought in his head as a heel to counter out with this response: "I'm glad you got MS. Well, if that makes you happy, have a great life," replied back by Sandy T. Then Ricochet had to friggin' go out of his way to do this, and this is where it gets even better. He had to apologize and say, "I took out my hatred for the IWC on Sandy and inadvertently others who are affected by MS. She didn't deserve it, and for that, I sincerely apologize. Moving forward, I'll do better." So with that being said, we're going to start it off here with Paul. Your thoughts on everything that went down with Ricochet. And it turns out that he got into a lot of trouble over this, and possibly if he didn't apologize, which I'm sure Tony Khan had AEW legal tell Ricochet to apologize about this, he probably would not be in AEW as we speak. So your thoughts on this whole situation?
You know what? There have been stuff. I get it. You wanna just be a heel and say heelish things, which is, quite frankly, it's fine. You know, we've seen over the years so many people do it. But let's take the flip side here. How is it that we as fans can, harp on, some things that wrestlers say, and we could sit there and we can talk all kinds of shit to wrestlers, but yet we're the ones who are assholes. But I know that there are people in the IWC that take it way further, and then they take up and bring up personal stuff. Right. I mean, and they get very, very personal, and then they start DMing people and sending messages across, whether it be IG or whether it be Twitter or whether it be any social media. And then they feel like it's their necessity. Like, I pay for tickets, like I pay for your merchandise, but you're pretty much investing in these people. I'm not saying that Ricochet was completely right or completely wrong. All I'm saying is that there's two sides to this, and there are very much assholes in the IWC who can be just as, and if not worse, than what Ricochet said. I don't condone it. I'm just saying, I'm glad he apologized. I'm glad he figured out, hey, this was the line. I don't know if Warner Brothers Discovery made him say it or Tony Khan asked him to say it. I don't know, but at this rate, all that matters is that he apologized, and it's in the rearview mirror. But
I think for me too, is it kind of hit me a little home because one of my dear friends, her name was Susan, had dealt with MS, and I used to help her out when I used to work back on Long Island for this company called Marketing Incorporated. Like, I think that got me because we all, not just myself, but we all know people who have struggled with multiple sclerosis. Like, it's one of those things where it's not fun. It's a struggle each and every day, and I applaud that woman for going through it. But Ricochet, through all of this, the apology, he's had death threats. His wife had got death threats. Somebody had put on Instagram, since Samantha Irvin has deleted her Twitter account, talking about, you better expect blood coming at from your husband. And I'm like, oh my God, like, we're seeing all of this unfold. Samantha Irvin's getting it. Ricochet's getting it. And then we find out this report from Brian Alvarez, which says that Ricochet is under some hot water with AEW management following his "I'm glad you got MS" comment. He issued an apology saying that he sincerely apologizes, that he will do better moving forward. Brian Alvarez on the Wrestling Observer said that if he's crossing his fingers, he is hoping he's still employed by the end of the week. So before I get to the end, Paul, your thoughts on that report that also came out within the Wrestling Observer about his job?
But what you just touched on, why do they have to get death threats? Yeah, he said something wrong. Yes, he apologized for it, but you don't need to take it to an excessive that level to say now you're going to threaten not only him, but now you're going to threaten his wife. Again, there are people in the IWC that are just completely and totally fucking, they need to get out and touch grass. And in this case, he apologized for it, but yet you had to go to the extreme to tell them that now he's going to die. Now his wife is going to die. Now there's going to be bloodshed. Why does it have to go there? And that I feel it's just, it's totally reckless. Not only by him saying what he said. Yes, it was a heel thing, but being in character only goes so far. And you know that as well as I do. Look at fucking MJF. MJF will say off the wall shit.
Yep.
But there's a line. There's a line that he won't cross. Ricochet crossed it. He came back from it, said, "Hey, I apologize," but for them to start saying shit about his killing his wife or there's going to be bloodshed, yeah, that's not cool.
The thing is, I remember as a kid going to Ring of Honor back to Sports Plus on Long Island, where you would see Lacey, who was with Jimmy Jacobs, like Lacey, who was in Shimmer, and they also used to tag team with a BJ Whitmer, right? Like they used to call her a crack whore. You see even worse stuff in like ECW. But the difference is that's kind of in like good nature of just being, the rabid fan base, but they're not threatening people. They're just going along with the heel shtick. This is just one of those things where it's just these people are just out of their minds. They take it to another level. It reminds me of 2017, one of the worst things I honestly remember when Rosie, God rest his soul, he passed away, and somebody wrote on Twitter that the wrong brother died because of the Roman Reigns hate. I'm like, that right there was just crude, snide, and just absolutely uncalled for. So we see it, and unfortunately, this was another one of those occurrences going to the death threat level. Daniel, your thoughts on everything that happened with Ricochet?
So I'm going to liken this to the fact that some people need to step away from the fucking internet. Excuse the rant, but that fucking needs to be said. You see it in other entertainment forms. You see it in the music industry, specifically, like K-pop, for example. These talents, you'll have people thinking, oh, so this K-pop idol loves me, this, that, and the other thing. No, stay off the internet. And as far as this, I seem to remember, and I cannot remember Hana Kimura, the Japanese wrestler.
Yeah.
Who unalived herself. I believe she was bullied, and that's what led to it.
Yeah, bullied for being on the Japanese house. Yep.
We talked last time about Thea Hale, who is in tears. Just because these people play a character on TV, they're not those people. Like, having met Mick Foley twice, he's not Mankind. He's not Cactus Jack. He's not Dude Love. Now, the Mick Foley persona, that is him. Like, what you saw on TV when he was Mick Foley, the goofy kind of that guy, that's him. But some of these people, these wrestlers, that's just it. They're like actors. It's essentially a more physical form of acting. And you had Samantha Urban. I remember after WrestleMania 40, the video of her getting emotional over Cody's win. They bullied her over that.
They thought she was overacting. Yeah, I remember.
But to give him death threats, people think. Could he have said some? Could he have been a heel in a better form? Absolutely.
Yes.
But in this instance here, also think about it, people. If you make these kind of comments, pending on state law, whatever state he lives in, probably Florida, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
But some states, they can go after you for what you post on the internet. Like if you make a comment like that, and that can be construed as a threat.
I mean, I believe they live in Las Vegas now, so I mean, still, you don't want to play with anybody in Las Vegas, for God's sake. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes down in Las Vegas with laws and stuff. As someone who's been there, and as Paul, as you know, with your mom living there, so I mean, you can't come on in Las Vegas, especially.
Godfather can tell us all about it.
The Godfather. I mean, Paul, I think you could even say it on the West Side over there. You don't want to fuck with anybody over there in Vegas.
Yeah, you've seen Casino.
We have, yes.
Hey, we've also seen Vegas Vacation.
Yes, we have. This is true.
Underrated movie, by the way.
Very much so. But yeah, the point is, people, cut with the death threats. And for Ricochet, don't go on Twitter again. It reminds me of Keanu Carver, where he's like, man, that bitch-ass ninja Roman Reigns voting for, all these Samoans voting for Donald Trump. And then probably Shawn Michaels or whoever told him, hey, Keanu, no. Like Matt Bloom probably said, hey, Keanu.
Read the room.
Read the room. How about you don't do that? Like, we're pushing you. You're on Evolve. We're going to push you. How about you don't say that, you dingus?
But,
I'll go for it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
As far as this whole Ricochet thing goes, like, there's ways of being a heel without coming off like a fucking dick. Like, and just... he feeds into the trolls too much.
That I can agree with.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who feed into trolls, but yes, to go back to what you mentioned about Thea Hale, yeah, there was a lot of people who came down on her because of the botch. One, because how she won the North American title. It was an accident. You can't, accidents happen in the ring. Injuries happen in the ring. Sometimes you can't predict them. I mean, we can name numerous times where injuries happened in the ring, and Triple H with his hamstring, well, his quadricep tearing. Look at Vince McMahon tearing both quads, trying to run down to the ring.
And Triple H, it was both time on the quads, running from behind on Jericho and the spine buster. Yeah.
Most recently, Braun Breaker flipping over well, that was outside the ring, but
yeah,
Bronson Reed, his tearing his tricep. Accidents happen.
Vince McMahon. Happen.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
I mentioned Vince and running to the ring, and then
Kevin Nash running over in the 10-man.
Oh God!
What about Psycho Sid jumping off the second rope and tearing his and breaking his femur, right?
Yeah, femur.
Or his shin. No, his shin.
I can still see it. I can still see it.
Okay, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, we can that pretty much justifies what we're trying to get at, but still you don't go after these people. I mean, just kind of keep it on a level and stop going after trolls, because that's all they are, is trolls.
Whew. Well, speaking of being better, Daniel did mention his name, and that guy will appear later on when we talk about other stuff. I actually wanted to bring up Mick Foley, our dear friend, Mrs. Foley's baby boy. God rest Mrs. Foley, and everything that we're going into. So one of the things I figured we tie this in together, gentlemen. WWE had planned to go to Saudi Arabia this year for Night of Champions. Well, with everything going on in the world, that's going to be a no-go for me, brother. So Mick Foley actually put out a latest video here, and I'd like to play it. It's about 4 minutes, but it's worth it because it's the Mixter. And he put
now I got to cancel my plans to go, man, and I just had my passport renewed. I'm just joking.
So the Mixter went on his YouTube channel and he put out a new video, and it's
titled. By the way, Mike, not to cut up, but he looks like he's lost weight. Like he looks like he's gotten in shape.
I noticed that. Yeah, looks like he's lost like a lot of weight again. Yeah,
looks younger. Like looks like kind of Cactus Jackish.
I could definitely see that. Yeah, buddy. So he had put out this video called "We Are Better Than This," and here is Mick Foley.
Hello, everybody. This is Mick Foley, the hardcore legend, and this is an earnest and honest attempt to talk to Republicans and independents who are not so far gone that they can still think for themselves. Now, if you're one of those people, like a close relative of mine, who certainly seem to feel like Alex Preddy and Renee Good deserve to die, then I'm not talking to you. Thank you for your support, and you can just, watch it and leave a mean comment or get out of the conversation now. What I'm talking about is appealing to good-hearted, sensible people who cannot believe that the way immigrants are treated in this country is correct. Now, I was listening to a TV station where they talked about how 65% of Americans think ICE has gone too far, and they thought that was good for America, where I was left thinking, wait, 35% of the American public is for this? I'm sorry, but I cannot believe that. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe that 3.5 out of every 10 Americans I meet would be in favor of our fellow human beings, our brothers and sisters, being treated in such an inhumane fashion. I refuse to believe it, because if 3.5 out of 10 people I meet are for that, that means far more than 3.5 out of 10 who are not people of color are for it, even more males. This is just me in my head doing the math. And that means no, we're all better than this. I'm not saying this in a condescending fashion. I'm saying I know because I spent time with you. When I say that, I mean, I spent 15 years riding the roads with a variety of different wrestling friends and travel partners, one of whom I would consider to be very progressive. That would be Jim Cornette. The others, not going to make anybody's list of progressives and definitely going to lean conservative, independent to conservative. I never had any problems with a single one of them. We had discussions, not arguments. I know it because when I was struggling, you were the people who let me stay in your spare room or on your couch because I didn't have money for a motel. You were the people, the guy who may have been wearing a MAGA hat, gladly giving me instructions when my GPS wasn't working. You are the people who smile with joy when I bounced your children on my knee as Santa Claus. And when you take the photos and you hug your children at my appearances in small towns across this country. And I've worked in every single state, red, blue, and purple, and I've felt the love everywhere I've been. And I just refuse to believe that these people who treat me with such kindness would turn a blind eye to the cruelty that this administration is inflicting on others. There was a quote I saw. A friend of mine asked me if I wanted to put out there, and I said, hold on, I think I can do better with a video message. And the quote said, it's okay to admit you were for something and no longer are. It's okay to say that you like something in principle, but not in its execution. And then it went on to say the best time to speak up would have been earlier. The second best time to speak up is now. Because years from now, when there is nothing to lose, we will all have been against this. But the time to speak up and state your case is now. Many people might not believe this, but I firmly believe the United States of America is better than this. America is better than zip tying senior citizens. America is better than chasing down agricultural workers or abducting day laborers at Home Depot. America is better than using children for bait.
Agents made Liam knock on the door, asking to let them in order to see if anyone else was home.
We are better than this. We are better than inflicting terror on a wide swath of this public based only on the language they speak and the color of their skin. And I think that many of you believe we're better than this too. I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll be devastated because I will have completely lost faith in the United States of America and its people. But you can make a difference by just speaking truth to power.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper.
Donald Trump reads the polls. 35% is bad. It's not as bad as the 10% that I think is more accurate. Please make a difference by using your voice. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.
Whew, and that was Mick Foley.
Mic drop.
Yep. All of that.
Couldn't have said it any better. I mean, and I don't know who they ask. You know, it mind boggles me on how many people they ask for these polls. And I don't know if it's just you're trying to polls to whenever you see a poll, you know, whenever you see someone bring up like poll statistics and stuff like that. I could even give WWE a you know, one of these, like, you know, how do we know that so and so is going to win, you know, a championship? How do we know that so and so is going to win, you know, be the number one contender for a title? You know, we don't know. We can guess, but I don't know who they're asking to find out who does this. That's why you see these CBS news polls, you see these NBC news polls, ABC, CNN, MSNBC, you know, all these news outlets. I don't know who they're calling. I don't know who they're talking to. But in my 50 years of, or at least I'd say 35 years of me, or 32 years of voting, never gotten a phone call from anybody to say, hey, you know, do you vote this way? Do you vote that way? You know, I've never gotten a phone call from that. I mean, if they're just basing it by demographic on who lives where, you know, and they're trying to base it on that, I don't know. But as far as like 65% are disapproving of this and then 35 are approving of it, I think that's kind of not exactly right, but that would still be a scary thought to know that 35% of America wants this, that wants people taken from their homes, and that wants people, you know, ICE to go out there to, you know, get rid of all these people, when this whole country has been built on immigrants. It doesn't matter that, you know, a lot of them were either black or Latino, but there were Italians that came over, Russians that came over, you know, pick any country from overseas that have come over here and done labor work, you know, that built New York, that built Philadelphia, that built all those original 13 colonies. And
the modern rail system.
The modern rail system, yeah. All I'm saying is that this whole country has been, you know, whether it is true that a lot of it has been taken forcefully, but, you know, we're not going to go into all that. I'm not trying to get into this whole conversation about how the United States got taken over. But all I'm saying is that we've been built on immigrants. So why are you trying to all of a sudden get rid of them, given the fact that a lot of the companies that are big time, that are big companies, are using immigrants to, you know, do their bidding, working at their places.
Yeah, like my great-great-grandmother, Giuliano, came all the way from Italy just to make her mark in the States. And I mean, my grandmother will even talk about her brothers and her sisters, God rest her soul. Like, it's stuff like that. And I mean, everybody came here to have the American dream and live and prosper and do well. And now we live in a regime where they want to take that all away and send them back to where they were, because we're in a division of just hate and just overall divide and separation, where it's just disgusting to see it. I mean, I even tie that into what Mick said, because you have WWE supposed to go over there to Saudi, which obviously is not going to happen out Night of Champions. Don't even fucking go there for WrestleMania. I look at a stance like this. We are in a war that we started, and now our piss pants, our mush brain dipshit of a president is trying to get his allies, who he has shit on, to help him. And every one of them said no. Zelensky, even though all the shit that he said about him is just like, I'll help you. And this motherfucker got mad. So we're in just such a state of disarray. And it's just going to continue to get worse, because we are in such horseshit. We see gas prices going up, and the cult-like mag will be like, oh, but that's okay. No, it's not. This is a man who wanted lower gas prices, no more wars, and he is completely going against everything that he said that he wanted.
Grocery prices.
Thank you, grocery prices. But to me, I always look at it like this. I'm like, y'all are 10 years too late. I'm glad that you're getting off the ship. And I also am glad the fact that you're starting to wake up. But at the end of the day, too, you're 10 years late, because we told you this was going to be. And then you finally come to the realization. And then you're like, oh. And I'm like, well, we told you. So don't act like we didn't tell you. But yeah, I digress. So, Dan, I'll let
you know, it's the equivalent of And Paul, I know you can attest to this. When you tell a little kid not to touch a hot stove and
Yep.
then they touch it anyway,
Yep.
like part of you feels bad, but then there's the other party that's like,
Told you not to touch it.
fucking told you.
Yep.
Like, he literally told the world what he was gonna do.
Yep.
The immigration stuff, he told you all during the campaign trail what he was gonna do. And I find it absolutely hilarious that we've got a bunch of stupid fucking people that saw this and were like, well, I didn't know he was gonna do this. Yes, you fucking did. He told you.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, it's mass media. You have got people that have these 24-hour news stations, your Fox, your MSNBC, your CNNs, Newsmax, One American Nation, whatever that is, One American News.
Yeah, OAN. Yep.
But you have them teaching people and shoving it down their face of who to fear. Of saying, oh, see that immigrant over there? Oh, be scared of them. They're evil. They're evil people. And you know what? After, if this were all wrapped up tomorrow, they'd move on to somebody else. They would move on to something else to fear. Because fear makes them easily controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And it's these people that think, oh, I'm a free thinker. I have a free mind. Then fucking use it.
That's the problem. These people don't use their heads. They don't use their minds. The problem is that I've said this. I even had a debate with one of my people who was acting like a goddamn chode. My thing with him is it's like he got into it and he told me that he had his own mind. I'm like, well, will you support Donald Trump and listen to every word that he says? You don't have your mind. You just believe all the rhetoric that Trump says. Oh, he's going to end the war in 2 weeks. The trust me, bro mentality, or you'll see. Yes, just like when he said that they're eating the dogs and the cats, you'll see. It's just such ridiculous rhetoric that it just makes my head itch. It just makes me just feel so disgusted. Gives me that pit in my stomach because we are in such a society where everyone is so easily brainwashed and they fall into this absolute nonsensical rhetoric that shouldn't happen. Goddamn, I'm sorry.
Just as an aside, with all this stuff going on currently, where the fuck is the vice president?
Blaming Joe Biden for the gas prices.
Like, all I'm gonna say is that dude's being awfully fucking quiet lately.
I'm going to play this just because it's hilarious. So this is from Republicans Against Trump. This was a reporter in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to play this.
Let's take a listen to one more woman who we spoke with. If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I needed a belly laugh. That was great.
Not once.
Not once.
Not twice.
3 times.
3 times.
Oh.
You know, I'll bet you.
Yes.
I'd be willing to bet that if we redid the 2024 election tomorrow, we'd probably still fucking vote for him.
Probably.
All because he has a weird laugh.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many people I never really understood how gullible they were.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and this is something that kind of came into my head. And I understand the attraction because, for so many years, now bear with me, for so many years, we've dealt with politicians, actual, real, legit politicians for so many years, and literally 41 presidents prior to no, because he's 43, 42 presidents.
No,
prior to him.
45 and 47.
Oh, well, okay, then 44 prior to him. are all politicians. None of them are like, hey, you know, aside from Ronald Reagan, who was an actor prior.
Yep.
Every other president has pretty much had. Now, I'm not saying Donald Trump is an actor. Ronald Reagan had an acting career.
Yep.
That spanned a couple of decades. Just because you were shown up in a couple of movies to do cameos does not make you a certified actor. Just because you had a defunct fucking reality show does not make you an actor. Sorry, not sorry. The fact, all I'm trying to say is like, you know, we went through so many years and we've heard about draining the swamp and how many politicians have actually fucked over so many of us, the citizens, for so many years. And we thought, hey, and I'm pretty sure there were people who thought, oh my God, this guy's a complete different. This guy is completely different. He's not a career politician. He's not someone who's held a political office. He's different. He's very much different. And I get the attraction. But when he opens his mouth and the shit that comes out, and you know it's shit. And the fact is that people are picking it up and like literally bathing in it because it's everything he's spewing. And it doesn't matter whether they believe it or not at this point, because none of it is true. How are you going to tell us we won the war or we're winning the war, then tell us we need help winning the war? How are you going to tell us all three things in literally about a span of 5 minutes?
They get mad for people who don't help our allies who don't want to help him in the war.
So make it make sense. It's either you take a moment to step back, forget all the other news, but listen to what he's telling you. Forget that you hear it from Fox News, OAN, whatever other conservative platform you watch, whatever other conservative platform you follow. Just sit back for a second. Listen to what he's telling you. And then think for yourself, is this right? Is this true? Is any of this stuff that he's saying? Listen to hear if he contradicts himself, because if he does that, he's telling you a lie.
So I will add to that before we move on to our AEW Revolution talk.
Can we just say Ventura 2028?
I'm right there with you. And hell, even put Foley in there. Foley, Ventura, anybody, somebody. Foley, let's go, Mick. I do
give me that card. Foley, Ventura. I'm voting for it.
I'm voting too. So to add to the wrestling point of this before we go to AEW, your thoughts on WWE?
Real quick, Mike, I just got a vision of him doing the State of the Union and giving somebody Mr. Sacco. Imagine being on the floor of the UN and giving somebody Sacco.
Somebody's gonna want it. Somebody from some foreign country is gonna want it. Somebody's gonna walk up there and say, "Give me Mr. Sacco." He's gonna pull it out of his pants, put it on his hand, and then just mandible claw up.
He will have a custom Mr. Sacco that's wearing a suit and red tie.
I legit have that image in my head now, and I can't stop laughing.
Can I get James Carville as like the Secretary of State?
Hey,
I got a better idea for you. Yes. Press secretary.
What?
To tell people off.
That one video, you know the one I'm talking about.
A fat piece of shit. You fucking asshole. I guess I
have the Reigns syndrome. I don't want to get rid of it.
I don't want to get rid of it.
I could have that energy all day.
With some people, believe me, with some people, you have to have that energy because they're so damn stupid.
Mm-hmm. Now, WWE in a way is stupid if they do this. So your thoughts on Night of Champions looking and most likely not happening in Saudi this year. And can we please not go to WrestleMania for Saudi next year, please, with all that's going on?
Yeah, because this isn't going to be done by then.
No.
And believe me, if if the orange clown decides to, you know, there's still going to be going on. Either that, or hopefully someone decides hopefully Vance decides, hey, guess what? I don't want to do this anymore. But you're too late. You're already neck high in fucking sewage because y'all are up shit's creek with this.
Because see, here's the problem. Even if we pulled everything back now, who's to say the Iranians are going to be like, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, you're gone. No.
It's going to be on today's episode of FAFO.
We'll get to that in a second there with the F5.
But as far as your question regarding Night of Champions, when is it supposed to be?
Oh my goodness, let me take a look now, because I saw Night of Champions this year is supposed to be, and this is 2026.
Something
well,
like
even if you look at it, it's April of next year.
Yep.
It's a year from next month. So we're literally 13 months away from WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia.
So, and we all know how long it takes. So realistically, they'll never say it, but, and we briefly talked about this before the show, I think WWE would be incredibly stupid if they aren't already making contingency plans, because they're not going to do something as big as WrestleMania. They're not going to be like, okay, yeah, let's host it in Houston, or let's host it in Indianapolis, Indiana at the Hoosier Dome.
Because I could tell you what Tony Khan is probably already doing is that he's pretty much I can guarantee he's already setting up a show for next year. And shout out to us for actually telling him, hey,
you're welcome.
We put it into existence. Hey, you're welcome.
Tony, pay us!
Pay us, Tony!
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, seriously, pay us.
No.
But when is not? It doesn't say when Night of Champions is.
27.
Okay, so I would say no.
Yeah.
I would say you need to find. I'm pretty sure they're already scrambling to try and see who has something open. But Night of Champions, I mean, unless you want to come back here to LA and have it again, but all I'm saying is that maybe, I don't know, somewhere on the East Coast, that would be my venture. Either that, or you have a significant because they have a tour in Europe about that time.
Yep.
So they may actually do it in Europe.
Yeah, we also got Clash in Italy around that time too. So
yeah. So if I'm a betting man, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen somewhere over there.
Why not in why not London? Why not do it in the O2?
Yeah, that would be my guess. That would be my suggestion. If you're already on a European tour, he said European.
Well, I will go to this next since this has to do with WrestleMania. So our first of three, here's Uncle Dave and Brian. All
right. Well, I'm gonna go to bed.
So this was talking about WrestleMania tickets saved 31.6% on WrestleMania tickets for WWE 316. So here we go with Uncle Dave and Brian talking about this.
Well, today was 316 day, and WWE discounted ticket prices for WrestleMania. I believe they're still at 37,000.
I haven't looked, but they discounted every show between now and June 9th, I believe, for one day only, and it's over now, but 31.6%. So I don't know if there's any new counts or how effective this was in all the different cities. But put it this way, it's like there's been many, many March 16ths in the last 10 years, and they've never done this before.
Dude, they did this for WrestleMania over Valentine's Day a month ago.
Yeah, that was 20%. Yeah. But that didn't work that well.
No, it didn't work at all, actually.
Yeah.
I mean,
the problem with
look at the number of tickets that were sold. I mean,
it was only a couple hundred.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is that now you're getting to the point where people have made up their mind.
Yes, this should have been done a long time ago. Like, flights are only getting more expensive the closer we get. The hotels are only going to get more expensive. Everything's only going to get more expensive. And if you're a person who wasn't going to buy tickets because they were too expensive. Well, if the tickets get a little cheaper and everything else is now getting far more expensive, well, you missed your chance. Should have been done a long time ago.
All righty. And that was them talking about the WrestleMania tickets. They got a point. Things are expensive. Flights, hotels, everything. Too doggone expensive, my friends.
You know,
you already know where I'm staying, so I don't have to worry about a hotel. So
I know.
I just got to drive we just had to drive our asses out there. So
part of the fucking reason that this shit is happening is everything that they have been doing. Shitty booking, exorbitant ticket prices, the banning of the watch-along parties,
which
although
now
they've lifted that.
Yeah, they lifted that, yeah.
It's so much negative PR, and now they're scrambling. You know, when I forget how much it was going to be, like $8,000 for the cheapest ticket that I saw a couple weeks ago, or no, for the most expensive ticket,
right?
And it was going to be like maybe $500, I think, for the cheapest, and that's in the nosebleeds. Like, you're doing the same Mania in the same location 2 years in a row. Not that there's anything wrong with Vegas. It's a nice venue. But you fucked New Orleans out of Mania. Why couldn't you go back there? Why couldn't you do it literally anywhere? You want it to be in Vegas to have the big fight field because that's where UFC is.
Yep. Fight capital of the world.
Vince McMahon picked the worst possible company to purchase WWE.
Oh, yeah. We saw what Ronda had to say about it at the press conference. And we'll get to Ronda in a minute.
Please don't.
We gotta. But speaking of everything, we
hold on.
About
the cheapest ticket right now for Saturday is in the cheap section is for Saturday. It's $215.50.
Wow. Okay.
But we'll look at it this way. If WWE decides, now this is WrestleMania we're talking about, not how, I don't even remember how many matches were on last year's. I think it was 6 or 7.
About 6 each night, yeah.
And I think okay, so that's the worst part. And I can tell you why. Is because people want to be, if you're going to spend that much money, you want to know that you're getting your money's worth.
Right.
You're going to want to know that you're going to see not some great matches. You know, you want to know that the build is being, great, and that's basically what we want, as fans. And we want to have a great show. And you can do that for 2 nights. If you do 8 matches per night, you can make it. You can get through all 8 matches. And not every match needs to be fucking 35 minutes or 45 minutes, Tony Khan.
Well, as I'm looking at last year's WrestleMania, there was 7 on night 1 and 7 on night 2.
Yeah, see, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's efficient enough to where you can have great matches, then again, I go back to, you can have 5, 6, 7, 8 minute match that makes people pop. Look at Monday Night Raw. Look at the match between Penta and Dragon Lee. Look at how awesome that match was.
That match was fantastic. I'm so glad.
And it was great. A great match to have. Great quality. Yeah, it went, I believe it was almost 20 minutes the match went.
They gave them time. Oof.
And they gave them time, which is fine. But when you have a lot of fillers throughout an episode of Raw, and you get more commercials and filler as opposed to matches, that's a problem. Look at exactly what ESPN is bitching and complaining about. That's their complaint. Like, you're giving us 3, 4, 5 matches, and then
Fill it.
Okay, you're out of here. Bye. You got to spend 3 hours to sit there and watch all this, and a majority of that is just talking, interviews, backstage, filler with a bunch of commercials. Do people really want to sit through that? No.
Wheatley's so good. I'm drinking.
Yeah, why is it? But nobody wants to go to WrestleMania because it's not exciting.
So I think the other issue there is we're about what, 3-ish weeks, give or take?
Yeah, about 3-ish, 4 weeks. There you go. Thank you.
4 weeks away from WrestleMania.
Yep.
By this point last year, we had a good idea what the majority of the card was going to be.
And there's only 5 matches right now.
So far, confirmed. We're not counting rumored. We are talking confirmed. We know, we've seen the graphic. We know the match is happening.
Yep.
We have CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, Stephanie Vaquer versus Liv Morgan, which I honestly think is going to be pretty good. Honestly, Cody Rhodes versus Randall Orton, Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley, and Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar.
5.
So we have 5 matches and we still have 4 weeks left. And why are there not more matches? And one thing I want to touch on.
Yes.
And that SmackDown, the night before WrestleMania. Why does it need to have matches on it?
I bet we're going to get the Andre the Giant.
Personally, I would much rather have the Hall of Fame be the SmackDown before WrestleMania.
Right.
I would much rather spend, if that's a 3-hour block, I would much rather spend 3 hours watching the Hall of Fame on a SmackDown, and then if you want to preview everything that's going to happen on night 1 and night 2, perfect, because you have 3 hours to do this. Nobody's going to run an hour and a half like Triple H did last year with his damn conversation. But you would much rather have a decent time for people to get to a venue. Oh, now, mind you, if you do this next year, now Saudi Arabia is different, but say you do it 2 years from now, you do it on the East Coast. You have SmackDown that starts at 8 p.m. your time. If you do 3 hours, that's 11 p.m. If you have an hour in between to get to the next venue for the Hall of Fame, that shit's starting at midnight on the East Coast. Why are people going to want to go and attend and be out of there at 3 in the morning? And 2:30, 2 o'clock, 3 in the morning.
And the other problem with that, Paul, is you have talent that if the Hall of Fame starts at midnight, they're usually about what, 2-3 hours for the full show, give or take. So say 3 hours. If the Hall of Fame starts at midnight, it would go till 3 a.m. So then the talent would have to go to get out of there. They're not getting out of there on time.
Right.
So then they get back to their hotel, say 4:30. Fall asleep 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Sleep for how long, knowing that they have to get up for biggest night of their career for some of them? We'll use Oba Femi, for example. Biggest match of his fucking career. And you're going to tell me that if, Hall of Fame, if it were to go until 3 o'clock, 3 in the morning, he's going to get up at fucking 8 o'clock? No, that makes no sense. Don't do it to your fans. Don't do it to your talent.
That's why I'm saying it would be much better to have the SmackDown before WrestleMania, have the Hall of Fame on that SmackDown. If you want to do the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, put it on the fucking on WrestleMania night 1.
Well, that was my thing. I'm trying to think, what matches are they going to do on SmackDown before? I could see them doing the Andre. I could see them doing Julia and Tiffany. I could see them doing a tag title with the Wyatt Six, the MFTs, and the Wyatt Six win it back. I know they're going to do at least 2 or 3 of them on the SmackDown before.
Well, what they'll probably do is I think last year maybe we got one.
Yeah, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal where Bronson Reed won.
Was it last year the year that they split up the tag titles, or was that the year before at Mania 40?
I think that was a year before.
Mania 40?
Yeah.
So I think last year they did the World Tag Titles on one night of Mania, the WWE Tag Titles on the second night.
Yeah, because that was the 8-team ladder match that they had. That was the second match, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Hold on.
So, but you get our point. You get the fact
absolutely.
is that I would I'm sorry, but as a fan, why? And you guys have to look at it from your perspective because you guys are on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Why are you guys going to want to sit up and wait up till midnight to watch a damn show when you could just easily have the damn thing during SmackDown and just call it the WWE Hall of Fame?
Yep, I agree. That's why I even hated it last year for staying up to 3 a.m. to watch Triple H.
Yeah, that's
I get
and it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous and pointless, if you're asking me.
So let's talk about this because you did mention him before we get to AEW. We mentioned Penta and Dragon Lee had a great match on Raw. Natalya and Maxine Dupree was very underwhelming. And I love Natalya and Maxine, but that match was so short and it felt very... All right, I see Paul's face. I'll let you take it on this one. Go ahead. Our girl Natalya and our girl Maxine.
And I love both girls. I genuinely love both girls. But why are you going to give 20 minutes to Penta and Dragon Lee, but you're not going to give this one enough time? And you have a story there.
There's a story
and
there.
You're still not going to give them enough time? Let's talk about the fact that we ended up with a backstage segment that was literally two things in one. So it was bookended by a commercial, two segments that were backstage. And I believe it was Kofi Kingston and
Javon Evans.
And Javon Evans, and then
Danhausen, you are cursed.
Danhausen getting
cursing Grayson Waller.
Cursing one of them.
Grayson Waller.
And then you had Liv Morgan talking all kinds of smack back there. So that again, you wasted what 20 minutes of everybody's time.
And then there was the Usos and LA Knight. You better not be going with Roman in the bloodline because if you're in the bloodline,
yeah. So again, I understand that you want to have these little backstage segments, which are fine, but have a few matches, have a few more matches somewhere in between there. You're already having these interviews in between commercials that nobody sees unless you have a VPN.
I mean, the other thing I have to mention, because we mentioned those ladies, I will say this because it was 13 years after. AJ Lee and Bailey, I did enjoy the match, but it was just to lead to Becky Lynch coming out and attacking AJ, which, yeah, we're getting Becky and AJ again at WrestleMania. Yeah, all right.
And then you get the backstage segment with Bailey and Lyra Valkyria and Asuka and Kyrie, and it's like, now you're going to have her go after the tag team titles. I get that you want her to go on at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But are you going to do like a women's ladder match with all these women that you have as tag teams?
And
I would like to see it. Yeah. I would like to see it, but I don't want to see it on SmackDown.
And they're also teasing Lyra may turn heel on Bailey, and I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'm kind of numb to it at this point.
I mean, I think that is the right move, though. Just as an aside,
I agree.
Or if you're gonna do anything, give me heel Bailey
again. Yeah,
make them both heels. Make them both heels, and that would work for both of them. And literally, Bailey can kind of be the role model and guide Lyra Valkyria back into that picture of being who she was as the Intercontinental Champion.
Or even like when she first started NXT UK, that badass that we had in NXT. So it works.
Exactly.
I like that. The other thing we do have to mention is the two big segments. Seth Rollins in his mask gear. Paul Heyman looking like he's been on a bender for about 3 weeks. I love when Paul doesn't sleep and he looks also disheveled with the bloodshot eyes. He's walking down there and saying FAFO F5. And then Brock Lesnar comes out, kills the masked men. There was a suplex. That poor guy landed on the back of his head on the barricade and the steel steps. Oh, it was ugly. And then Brock is in the ring, and then Seth Rollins are staring each other down. Lights go down. Then we get, oh, and he's just strutting like the badass that he is. Obafemi comes in. They're all staring at each other. Brock chases Seth off after they do the stare down, and Obafemi lifts this man up, fall from grace, power bomb, and he puts his foot on his chest, points to the Mania sign. We get Oba and Brock. That was fantastic.
And apparently, it was Brock's idea for him to put the foot on him.
Yeah, you hear him yelling, "Put your foot on me! Put your foot on me!"
And I will say Rollins' reaction was great. He's just like, "Yeah, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here."
You're like, nope.
Not dealing with that. I thought that made him look like $1 million, and Oba better win at WrestleMania. He better mollywop him good. Paul, what'd you think?
I thought it was amazing. Both my wife and I were sitting there just going, oof, ah, oof, 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 as he was coming out. But I would have liked to have you know what? It's the same thing with Jey Uso. Like Jay likes to sit there and he claps and he, kind of does like this little jog, and then tries to yeet with people. It's like, get down to the damn ring.
Yep.
And Oba, I get it. You wanted to have that theatric feeling, and he's coming out, but I would have much rather him not dance just a little bit and then just said, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" And then it go from there, man. I would have that probably would have popped me a hell of a lot more, but hey, I popped for it. I don't care.
Same. And I think for me too, what I thought was so cool. All right, you mentioned Jey Uso. We've called it. Are y'all looking forward to the Usos against Logan Paul and Austin Theory? Because they're doing the non-title next week. Yeah, me either. They're gonna win, and then we're gonna get the tag match at WrestleMania. I don't care. I'm sorry. And I like the concept of what the vision was, but now that everybody's hurt and it's just those two, I'm kind of like, whatever. To be completely honest with you, I'm kind of like, whatever, guys.
Because I'm trying to remember the last time that Paul Heyman looked like he was like,
Solo.
It was after Roman. No, yeah, it was after Solo, huh?
Yeah, they put him through the
table. It was after Solo put them through the table with his MFTs, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what. And before Roman faced off. That's right. Yeah, that was classic though. The fact that he came out looking like he hadn't shaved in days or shaved in about a week.
Crying.
Yeah,
it looked like he had been crying.
So Stephanie Vaquer, our girl Stephanie, you mentioned Liv Morgan in the promo, like, this is her plan from the beginning with the Judgment Day. Beats Raquel. Do you like how Io got involved to help her? We went from Io and Rhea, now we got Vaquer and Io. I don't know what we're doing with Io, but we had Io involved in this. Okay, sure, whatever.
Dan, go first.
Dan, take
it. They've got so much good talent, and Io is one of their absolute best. The crowd loves her.
Yep, but now we're back to helping out Stephanie Vaquer. I get it, there's history, but still, it's like you want out of Stephanie.
Are you making Stephanie, or are you doing Io versus Raquel? Are you going to make this into a fatal four-way, which that would not surprise me?
No.
I would not be shocked if this is how they do the Judgment Day split, because honestly, this whole thing is pretty much done.
Yeah, thank God.
And I'm sorry, but unless Dom isn't as hurt as, and hopefully he's not, because they did say he is under concussion protocol.
Dude, that chair shot was gnarly. Oh, fucking Vikingo, bro.
Not the first time he's done something like this.
No, can we get rid of Vikingo? Literally, you got the Undertaker there, doing this. This can't be flying as much as we think.
It happened with El Grande Americano.
It happened now with Dom.
Vikingo, bro. Hopefully Dom isn't. Hopefully it's not a concussion. I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah,
but Dom and JD versus Finn and somebody else. That's a Mania match.
Well, I was thinking it was going to be Finn and Ray against them, but then you also
probably
want to be Gunther and Ray, which I'll be honest, like Dan said before we got on here, I really wouldn't want to see that match.
No.
Sorry. It's not a bad match, but I really want to
see.
I mean, the other thing that happened on Raw, and we'll get to the main event segment, but you mentioned El Grande Americano. He beat the OG Americano after the headbutt, but he had the metal plate in his mask. 1, 2, 3. They're continuing that. I thought that was fine. Did you guys like the Americanos match?
So here is how this is going to go, and I guarantee you.
Okay.
As we saw in the Rey de Reyes tournament, El Grande Americano won and is now #1 contender to the Mega Championship.
Yes.
He is going to beat Dom.
Yes.
And we are going to get El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano for the title in a mask versus mask match.
And who do you think is going to take it off?
El Grande Americano.
Yep, I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. Speaking of stuff that's going to happen, there's a lot that's happening.
Hold on. Before you go on, can I let me go back? Let me get back to Stephanie Becker.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Velcro. I miss her.
Shout out to Ollie Davis at Wrestle Talk for this one, because he actually pointed out something very, very significant.
Okay.
Do you know how many times since November that Stephanie Beckett has wrestled Raquel Rodriguez?
A lot.
Too many?
Too many fucking times.
Yes.
Not only did she have this match, she had the Philadelphia street fight after Royal Rumble. She had an episode of Raw, and I believe it was another street fight or another backstage fight or another fight that she wrestled her. She teamed with Riho.
Yep.
In a trios match with her. And then it's like not even the previous month, like she wrestled her again. When she tagged with Nikki Bella, that was when Nikki Bella turned
on her, yeah, and
she was facing her and Liv Morgan. So remind me again how great the booking is at WWE with their champion. It's making Stephanie look like there's nobody else there. You don't elevate Bayley because you want her in the mid card. You don't want to elevate Becky because somehow you're waiting to hold off for whatever WrestleMania you want or whatever pay-per-view event you want to put that in. But you don't even elevate Natty, who could be somebody that I'm sure she would love to get in the ring with her. And she did in NXT. So I don't understand why you can't put her in matches with these people. And if you put her in a match with Natty, why couldn't Maxine come in and interfere? Why couldn't she trip up Natty and Stephanie get the freaking win? I mean, because you're trying to protect this woman, and it's not. And I get it. No, and I perfectly get it. It wasn't supposed to be her. It was supposed to be Naomi.
Yep.
But you give her the title and then you do nothing with her. That's my point. Sorry, that was a little long.
No, you're fine. Like everything.
Thank you,
Kyrie and Stephanie, I think, would be a fucking good one.
I agree with Stephanie and Asuka. Like all they've been having her do is wrestle.
That's another one.
Yep. All they've been doing is having her wrestle Nikki Bella and Raquel. I think those are the only two she's really wrestled with the most, Nikki Bella and Raquel.
And now you're trying to build this match with her and Liv, and then what?
But see, the problem with that is the underlying story, and you can already they're doing it without doing it. It's the Raquel and Liv split. We know it's coming.
Yep.
And it's like they're showing it to you, but they're like, yeah, don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, it's speaking of something that we paid attention to. We got to talk about it. Paul thought it was lame, to quote Mr. Paul Morales, the RWT dead man. He thought it was lame. Daniel was also not a big fan of it. So CM Punk and Roman Reigns have their third exchange on the microphone. And it was all right, but the thing that set Punk over the edge, you're old. Boom. And that was the end of her.
Fuck you, Michael. Stop calling me old.
Nah, well. So, Paul, we'll let you go, lame-o. Your thoughts
Talk about the worst your mama's so fat joke.
That's your tits on
Think about the worst joke you could tell somebody. You're just ugly.
You're ugly.
That was it. Yeah, that's all my biggest comeback. And Bully Ray was trying to justify it in some sort of way. Trying to say that there are things that you don't say to people. You don't say that you're old. You don't say that you're washed up. You don't say, those type of things to aged wrestlers. You don't. But that's just it, is that you're just trying to tell him that he's old. And I don't think that was the original plan. And according to bodyslam.net, that wasn't the plan. He was supposed to talk about Larry.
But they didn't go that route. And at the last minute, they decided to change it, which I get. But at the same time, you could have came up with something a little bit more creative than him being old. Why couldn't you talk about Punk's father? Why couldn't you talk about his relationship with his father? Alcoholic father. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. See, you could have just as easily tapped into that one little thing. And I get it. You want to make it personal, but yet you don't want to make it personal. But if Larry's off limits, cool, fine, dandy. Then talk about Punk's father.
Well, they did
just talk about a strained relationship with his father.
With the Jericho feud going into WrestleMania 28 with the alcohol and all that, making him take the piss test and all that. Yeah, I get it.
You know what this interaction did? Because it did do one thing.
Go ahead.
It made Roman look weak.
Well, did you like the Samoa Joe shout out with "I'm not going to call you Joe"? Yeah, that was kind of funny. I liked that
because there's only one Samoan Joe that I love.
Yes, I thought that was funny.
So my issue with this, it makes Roman look weak.
Yes.
And I mean, Roman's probably going to beat him. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Should he? Absolutely not.
No.
What I would kind of like to see, have the Usos turn on Roman and help Punk win.
Kind of like the old Straight Edge Society with Punk as the leader, the new Nexus vibes, if you will. I don't mind that. I don't hate it. I think it would definitely be something different, something that nobody would be expecting, because you tap into the whole thing where it's like, hey, Roman never did apologize to us. Why are we going to do this again like we did with the Bloodline 4 years ago? So you kind of have that little tie-in. I don't hate it. But this is also what Paul was referring to with Busted Open. So Tommy Dreamer would say this on Busted Open. He shared his honest thoughts on Roman Reigns calling CM Punk old. He wrote, Promo Class 101. When you're insulting your opponent, the biggest thing you're never supposed to do, you're never supposed to call your opponent fat and out of shape or old. You know why? Because when you get punched in your face and you get dropped, the old guy just dropped you. Also, if you're saying somebody is old and you're in the main event of WrestleMania, you're going toe-to-toe and you can't beat an old guy. No one would say that to The Undertaker. No one would say that to Shawn Michaels. Cody's not going to say that to Randy. No one's going to say that to Brock. So when you go that route, you've got to be careful. However, I loved all of it. Everything Roman Reigns said before that was wonderful, in the sense of I'm faster than you, I'm better looking than you, I'm everything you're not. So Tommy Dreamer gave the thing some praise.
Ric Flair says what?
Woo!
But
do we not remember that?
Yep.
Yes. But I think, and I was going to say, to look up what Tommy said, because he was spot on. And I think that was what Bully was referring to when he was talking on Busted Open. He was referring to what Tommy Dreamer had said. And yes, and I get it. You wanted to pivot from Larry, which I had said that bodyslam.net had said that was the original plan. So you go a different route and you do this old thing. There's certain things you don't want to say, certain things you don't want to tell somebody. And obviously you don't want to tell somebody that they're old. Yes, that is classic 101, promo 101. You don't do it because then you get busted in your mouth. And I get it. And everything that they were talking about, everything that led up to it, hey, cool. They followed the script. They went to it. And I still certainly think from the promo that they had a couple of weeks ago where Punk said, I'm going to bury you next to your dead father. I believe he was having a little bit of trepidation trying not to say it. Uh-huh. And he was trying not to make it sound like if it was this horrible thing, but he said it. Roman telling the family, I'm, looking at the camera, telling them, to all his Samoan family, it's open season, pretty much like saying it's open season on Punk. But if you go back to last week's with the Usos, he wasn't wrong with what he said.
No, he's there young.
And he planted those seeds really, really well.
Whew. Speaking of planting some seeds, this brings us over to the AEW side, and we will get to Revolution and a couple of the returns and whatnot. So we're going to play. Brian Alvarez has 2 videos talking about MJF and Adam Page.
Real quick, Mike, I cannot cope with Brian Alvarez.
Cope! We'll talk about Cope, baby. So here is what Brian Alvarez had to say about the Texas Death Match. There's 2 videos. Here's video number 1.
I did not like this match. I was actually really enjoying it for about 20 minutes. But by the time it was over, it was just like, I hated it. They did the syringe in the cheek. We had the barbed wire. We had the broken glass. We had barbed wire. We had light tubes. We had where they both got thrown off the stage through like a landmine. This was way too much. This was like when you have all of the crazy we've ever seen in AEW, and then it's like, we got to find a way to make it 2 times crazier. Let's go 2 times crazier than anything you've ever done. For 45 minutes, 3 hours and 40 minutes in the show, and I was just like, when it was over, I was like so down on this when it was over, because it just feels like they feel like they're as hot as they have been in years. And I just feel like Tony's always like right there, man. He's right on the cusp, and then he just can't help himself. Let's go till 12:30 on a work night and a school night with this ultra violent that even Paul Heyman would be like, whoa, brother, pump the brakes, dude. This is way too crazy.
All right, so that's video number 1. God. So before we get to that reaction, goodness gracious, we will go to video number 2 from Brian Alvarez. So here is what he said about what is AEW going to do with Hangman Adam Page next.
And we have won. Which would be fine, whatever, except the stipulation is if Hangman loses, he can never challenge for the title again. Now, I've heard it all. It's just one stip. He just gave his word. It wasn't an official stipulation. All this and that. Guys, the stipulation that they advertise and push throughout this match is if he loses, he can never challenge for the title again. Option number 1, at some point he challenges for the title again. And for the first time since their inception, they're going to promise a stipulation and they're going to break it. Once you do that, your whole promotion is bullshit. People are going to argue that, but you know what? All I hear from people is, oh, all you want is recaps, and this is, we don't want this to be WWE, blah, blah. Hey, listen, if you don't want it to be WWE, this stip can never be broken. Because as soon as you break this stip, you're just bullshit WWE again. You're going to make a stipulation that you're later going to break. Hangman Page, guys, is 34 years old. So, like, if he's never in the world title picture again, that's a disaster. Like, I was in the middle of watching what I thought was the best AEW pay-per-view I've ever seen, and it ends with Tony doing something that is like, it's so stupid. I can't even fathom why you would do this. You're either going to, after all these years, just become another bullshit pro wrestling promotion that breaks your stips, or Hangman Page is never going to be in your title picture again. There is no third option, everybody. There's no third option. So, like, when this was over, it was just like, too violent, you're turning off fans. Too long, you're turning off fans. Stupid booking decision in the main event, which has, like, no positive to it. There's no positive to this. So, I ended the show on a real lousy note. Everybody should watch the first 3.5 hours of this pay-per-view. Watch it, enjoy it, and then turn it off. Because after that, it's just like, why do we have to do this on such a great night?
Okay, so that was Brian's initial thoughts there. Look, was it a long show? Yes, it went to 12:30, 9:30 p.m. We've complained about this all the time. Tony doing long shows on a Sunday. God. We'll talk about the returns and stuff, but we'll start with MJF and Hangman Adam Page. The syringe, the CZW's type spikes on the head. I did love the Terry Funk inspired attire that MJF wore. I thought that was cool. But other than that, yeah, it was violent. What it needed to be. You know what you're getting with a Texas death match. Go ahead, Dan.
Brian, my boy, you act like this is the most violent shit they've done. I seem to remember, what was it? Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher?
Yes.
I seem to remember Hangman and Swerve from about a year or so back.
Yep.
I also seem to remember on an episode of Dynamite, Chris Jericho versus Nick freaking Gage in a death match.
Yep.
On live network television TV. But you didn't have a problem with that.
John Moxley and Cope with the nail in the back?
Yes. No problem with that. But you have a problem with this. Look at it this way. Violence for the sake of violence, stupid. I would understand that. This was the end of a chapter. So a gimmick like this
works.
Yeah. If it hadn't have been violent, you would have bitched because you would have said, well, why call it a Texas death match then? It was what it was. It was good. I enjoyed the match.
I always
I like a good violent match. Robert Davis, shout out to Rob, can attest. He and I watched Nick Gage versus Matt Cardona probably 5 times.
Dude, I always go back to the fact, like you mentioned, Gage and Cardona. I'll always go about this. One of my favorite TNA storylines was Chris Harris and James Storm. He turned on his partner, blinded him with the beer bottle in the eye, and then it led to one of my favorite Texas death matches from Slammiversary with Chris Harris and James Storm because it was so good and they told a great story. Like, it was impactful.
Hell in a Cell, King of the Ring, 97, Foley Taker.
Yeah, 98.
We watched a man, 98.
Yeah, right.
We watched a man almost die.
Yep, even take it back to the first Hell in a Cell, Sean and Taker.
Another couple inches, Mick Foley would have landed on his spine on the guardrail.
Yep.
He would have been dead.
But yeah, Brian has to bitch about this match.
Like, I don't understand the selective outrage. I will say MJF, that Terry Funk gear, loved it.
Superb.
MJF should not lose that title for a long time. As far as Hangman, he's going to challenge for the title again. You know what's going to happen. And will some fans complain about it? Yes. But the way I see it, if they can tell a compelling enough story, which honestly I think they can do. I really think they can. If they can tell a compelling enough story, fans will buy it. Fans will be okay with it.
I mean,
just don't insult your fans.
I mean, they did it with Cody in 2019 where he never challenged for the world title. I'm going to say, do I think it's going to be similar? No, I definitely see Hangman getting a title shot again in the future. Paul, what say you?
I think, you know what? This show was so damn long. And there were a couple of matches that, yes, I believe could have been on Dynamite and not necessarily on this pay-per-view. Although some were very entertaining. I'll give it that the 0 hour, Wayne Brady spot, that was pretty funny.
Bitch slapping Shane Taylor and then getting speared.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, certain things, yeah, okay, I can understand the entertainment factor. And yes, you get what you pay for. Literally. But knock off an hour, you'll be perfectly fine. Knock off 45 minutes. If you're going to do this type of show, at least this long, put it on a Saturday.
Yep. Stop
doing it on Sundays. At least if you're going to do it that way, then start it in the middle of the day. Because you have to think about other people. Do something that Vince McMahon never did. And that was think about other people. And that was thinking about families having to get out of traffic, getting out of places, having to fight traffic, having to do all this stuff. Do something different that WWE doesn't think about. You did it in Texas, at All In Texas. You had that thing start at like 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yep.
In local time in Texas.
So,
and I get it. I think there was a WWE show that night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
and it ran over into it, but which is perfectly fine for a lot of us because hey, if you start that thing at 12 noon, 1 o'clock in the middle of the day, you're going to get all kinds of people that are going to be watching it. And then especially if they get home in time to, whatever.
Yeah, buddy.
So,
Get ready for the next day.
I will say this. We actually did touch on that on the Kicking It with the TSK review. You're in LA for Revolution.
Yep.
Why not start it at like 3 p.m. your time? So that'd be about 6 hours. It's about a 5-hour, 6-hour show. Worst case scenario, done at 11 o'clock. Do it earlier in the day. Some of those matches realistically could have been a Dynamite match, could have been a Collision match. And I rationalize it like this. There was a time a couple of months back that I believe it was Raw, maybe some point last year, that was here up in Buffalo. And I considered going. I found a ticket for a fair price. And I thought, wow, I could do it. But then I looked at it this way. Show doesn't end till about, say, 10:30, 11 o'clock. If there's some kind of dark segment with Raw, there usually is, right?
Yep.
So then I wouldn't get out of the arena till 11, 11:30. Not out of the parking lot until about, say, 12, 12:30. It's about a half hour, 40-minute drive home from that arena. So I'm looking at not getting home until past 1 o'clock in the morning when I've got to be up and at work by 8.
Right.
And I'm sorry, some people can get by on very little sleep. I can't do that.
Same.
Some people, as soon as they get home, they can go right to bed. I don't know about you two. I can't.
No, I can't either. I used to.
I gotta unwind. I gotta, watch TV, play a video game, play with my cats. Something like that. I can't do it. So to have these long shows, if you want to have 14 matches, 30 matches, a million matches, who cares? Please, Tony, start your shows earlier or do it on a Saturday. Or here's an idea that is never done. And if you want to fire a shot at WWE, do the pay-per-view on a fucking Friday night.
Huh? Like TNA does.
Do it at 8 o'clock on a Friday night. Most people are home by then.
Mm-hmm.
So, 8 p.m. Eastern, which, if it starts 8 p.m. West time, no, we ain't doing that.
No, but he logically, he had it start at 4 o'clock our time.
Yeah.
It was about 9:30, about 9:40, I guess, when it ended.
Yeah.
When the match ended, so that's 5 hours. But literally, you think about it, you're getting your money's worth. So if you're going to pay $100 to sit in the nosebleed section, imagine, or I believe they were like $100 in the mid-level section of like Staples Center, but still, look at what you get to watch. You get to watch an entire pay-per-view. And enjoy the hell out of it.
Now, we did mention matches that should not have been, that could have saved for Dynamite. So I got to ask you, as far as the women go, we'll talk about the returns and stuff. Did you like the Divine Dominion, Megan Bayne and Lena Cross beating the Babes of Wrath? We have new tag team champions. That was cool.
It was a nice shock.
It was a nice shock. All right. This one also kind of got me because of Diphthong, Finger in the Hola. Do you like Jack Perry winning the national title?
I do.
I don't hate it. How about you, Paul?
No, I liked it. And I liked that. I think it was like a day later, somebody had posted a picture of him and his dad, Luke Perry, at SummerSlam.
Same venue,
and
right?
How?
Yes.
Huh? Yeah.
Same venue, right?
Yeah. And it was the same venue, how they were there at SummerSlam at when it was Staples Center. And then you go back and you win the title in the same venue that you went to with your dad. Amazing. Just amazing.
I think another thing I do have to point out. So we also did get new trios champions, Mystico and Jet Speed. The Don Callis family already lost the trios championship after winning it on Dynamite. Another thing
Floppy Sin Cara.
Floppy Sin Cara. All right, let's talk
Shout
about.
out to Hunico wherever you are.
Shout out to Hunico, yes. So let's go into the main ones here, just because.
Hey,
all right,
you know what? And he's all elite now. So apparently he wasn't all elite before, but now he is.
all elite, yeah. So another
figure.
match.
He's
We
the
have-
elite Sin Cara.
The elite Sin Cara.
Yeah,
Jesus.
he's the elite Sin Cara. Shut up.
So we got FTR beating the Young Bucks. Look, it was what it was. It was fine. I had no issue with the match. But then Revenge comes on the screen. You think you know me. Here comes Adam Copeland. Cope! And Christian sprays Wheeler with mace. Unprettier. Spirit of Dax. They hold up the tag titles. Then they look back at the Young Bucks. And I swear to God, if they do this, I'm going to be so pissed off. So I'm looking at that, and I'm trying to think into the mind of Tony Khan, which can be a very scary thing.
Yeah, man.
I love you. So I could see them trying to do the Young Bucks versus Cope, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, and fucking FTR in a triangle ladder match, and they're going to try to recreate the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. And I'm like, this is 26
Tables, ladders, chairs.
Oh my, I'm right there with you. They're going to try to recreate that, and you can't. Paul, go ahead.
Not at their age.
No, they
and,
can't.
and I get it. And the Bucks are probably the younger of the group. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But you're up there in age, and you know, I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying you can't do it. I said you shouldn't do it. If you want to attempt it, hey, go by all means necessary, go ahead. But I'm just saying, have a great match with them. If you're gonna have a three-way tag team match for those titles, and I'd say do it. Enjoy the hell out of it. Just don't get hurt.
Well, that's my thing too. I get it, but I'm just like, I see the Hardys still doing their crazy shit, but I think the difference is they shouldn't even be doing it either, but they're doing the stuff with the Righteous now in TNA. But yeah, I don't know, man. Dan, what are your thoughts on this three-way?
To mention the Hardys,
yeah.
Jeff has said he can't do a lot of the top rope stuff. He's got a new finisher. It's a submission move.
I saw that. That was cool.
So, you know, and he said if he wants to keep doing this, he said, I can't do the high flying stuff anymore. His body won't let him.
Yeah, because you see him doing the whisper in the wind, and he was just like, it looks like it's horrible.
Yeah.
Like, know your limitations. And like Jericho's even said there's moves he can't do anymore. But he
lion salt.
So as far as this, though, I do think the right team won over. We're gonna get a Cope and Christian title reign just because
nostalgia.
It's nostalgia. I think they've got a pay-per-view coming up in Toronto.
Yeah, that's the next one. That's Dynasty or whatever that is.
And honestly, they're probably gonna win it there because hey, it's a feel-good moment. You know, they'll win the tag titles. They'll embrace in the ring. Whether they do it in a ladder match or not, I hope not, because if I'm more worried about Cope, just because one wrong landing and he's screwed. He's done.
By the way, just for the record, Jeff Hardy's new submission is called the Spinal Destination. I like that.
I do like that.
I like that.
like the original couple movies, not the newest one. The newest one was really not good.
Hey, I saw the race car one, the 3D one in theaters, and the bridge one.
I am sorry, but if I if I see a truck with logs on it, nope, not doing it.
What about the tanning salon one and the third one? Paul, you want to comment on the Final Destination?
You know what's funny is that anytime we see like a truck that has like lumber on it, or it has, you know, like you said, like logs or anything like that, I'm always like, this is it. This is Final Destination. I could feel it. I was like, goodbye, everybody. Good luck.
It's like how you feel when you go through the car
But
wash.
then maybe I shouldn't close my eyes while I'm driving fucking 70 miles an hour on the freeway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I shouldn't do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I like that submission. But yeah, no, I'm with
Especially
you
on a
guys.
Curve.
Yes, I'm with you guys about FTR and I like the whole nostalgia feel.
And I'll say I like both teams. I'm a huge fan of FTR. I've loved their work in AEW. I love them in their NXT run. You know, honestly, I will say greatest NXT tag team champions of all time.
Say yeah.
Fucking fight me, people. Especially you, Chuckle Fuck. Yeah, I haven't forgotten you.
He's never gonna let it go. And it's so
but I would like to see them do a little more work. AEW do a little more work on their tag division, because you got people that are so incredibly talented. But again, end of the day, it's whatever. We're gonna get Cope and Christian as the tag team champions, whether it's a short run, long run, doesn't matter. They're gonna give them the straps. May as well do it and get it over with.
Let's mention the other returns. Well, we'll go to this one before we get to the big female who is. We had
Whatever
Kenny.
happened to that? Whatever the hell happened to the Outrunners, man? They were doing so good, and all of a sudden it's like they went away.
Like that was it for the Outrunners. We had a little push, and that was it.
You know what it is? And honestly, think of the movie Toy Story.
Yes.
Woody, favorite toy, but then he gets Buzz Lightyear, and then he doesn't want to play with Woody anymore.
Woody's
That's
also
what Tony does. He signs someone, and he's like, "Ooh, shiny new toy."
Woody's got a bald spot now. For those that saw the Toy Story 5 friggin' trailer.
You know what? They should have stopped after 3.
I was done after 3 too. Exactly.
If you did not cry after the end of Toy Story 3, you have no soul.
It was right here. It got me. Oh, and then they get older, and he's going.
That was the only thing that was the good part about that whole movie.
It was.
It was the ending.
That was the best part. Was the ending.
I still say you're not going to top the first one.
No, the second one was.
No,
really
you're not going to top the first one.
No, the second one was all right.
It's iconic.
But no, the second one wasn't that bad. I mean, you got to give some love to the second one. The second one, right? Yeah.
So it was good having Michael on this podcast.
Yeah. So, speaking of returns, we had Kenny Omega return after Swerve beat Brody, which we're setting up Swerve and Kenny, which I'm down for. Will Ospreay returned after Moxley and Konosuke Takeshita, and he came back looking beat and looking swole. He's got more tattoos, so we're getting Moxley and Will Ospreay coming up. But the big one that everybody's talking about, and it was great to see those individuals come back to extend the feud, but we had Timeless Tony Storm against Marina Shafir. Tony Storm gets
Danhausen came out.
So Tony Storm beats Marina Shafir in this very short match. I thought it was fine. She's up on the ramp just doing her Tony Storm things. Then Ronda Rousey comes out of the crowd because she's there with her girl, and she tells her, get in the ring. And then Tony Storm is power walking, and then they have a little pull apart, and then Marina gets a cheap shot on Tony, and Ronda and Marina pretty much scoot out of the ring, and then they go through and give the fans the finger. I swear to God, if we're getting Ronda versus Tony, or Ronda and Marina against Tony and her partner, I was going to say probably Mina Shirakawa, and we have the Timeless Love Bombs, or my other thought would have been bring in Shayna Baszler, which I thought would be a nice little touch, but I think we're going to get the Love Bombs against Ronda and Marina. Your guys' thoughts on Ronda Rousey getting booed, number one, and number two, the face-off with Tony Storm, and I will start with Paul on this one. Go ahead, Paul.
Let's just start with the fact that she went over there after talking all the shit that she did.
Oh, my Lord! Yes! After she talked the crap out of
and then she talked all kinds of shit on not only a podcast, but on an IG Live.
Yes.
And she was talking about Stephanie. She was talking about Triple H. She was talking about Vince McMahon. She talked all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
She wasn't really specific as to, what wrestlers that were, that she didn't like, but I think we can kind of, decode who they were.
Yes.
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
Charlotte Flair. Oh, yeah, excuse me. But the thing is that the crowd was well knew who the hell she was, obviously. Okay. And then the fact that they started booing her just made it even more funny.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't even know. And then tonight's episode of Dynamite, you end up seeing Tony Storm beaten inside of her locker room.
Yep.
And Luther's like, is like he couldn't even get out a word, and it was, I don't know. Maybe it is Ronda Rousey is All Elite. Whatever. We don't even know.
Well, do you think it's
I guess I don't even know where the hell this is going to go. If it ends up with them in a tag team match, hey, cool.
Or do you want to see Ronda and Tony as like a... Now, do they bring in Gina Carano to friggin' promote the fight?
Yes. Yes, if you're gonna hype this thing up, but wouldn't it be like a conflict of interest though?
Yeah. With
Because
Jake,
that is Jake Paul, who is
and
Logan Paul's brother,
they're on Netflix.
and they're on Netflix. And the fact is that
Who's
I
on
don't
Netflix?
know. I really don't know. I really don't know.
And your thoughts on Ronda Rousey's appearance at AEW Revolution?
You know, as Paul said, for someone that talks so much fucking shit
about pro wrestling,
and I said she's done. She's absolutely done. She can't do it anymore.
Right.
She shows back up. I'm sorry, but if that doesn't make her a fucking hypocrite,
I don't know what does.
Like, and I'm sorry, but fucking why? You know, is it because she's talked shit on Triple H and WWE? Is that why Tony signed her?
Well, he did say on the AEW media scrum that it's like, hey, Ronda's allowed to come by anytime. She's welcome anytime to come to AEW.
I guarantee you she is signed.
I mean, she did that one Ring of Honor match with Marina against Athena and Billy Starks. Like that was,
and you know what? I'm sorry, but WWE does not need her.
No, like the second run was shit.
The reason I say that, she really did not move the needle all that much. A little bit, yes. Initially, oh yeah.
The first run, second run, no.
The second run, I remember when she came back, it was at the Rumble, right?
She won the Rumble.
And I remember when she came out, you're just like, yeah, she's winning. And it's just like, and it wasn't like, oh yeah, Ronda's back. It's just, oh, Ronda's back.
Roman Reigns at number 30.
Yes, that's a great comparison.
Yep, there it is.
Now, my thing too with
Ronda, Nikki Bella at number 30.
Oh yeah. Oh,
that was bad.
That was bad.
Last year's Royal Rumble.
Oof. I mean, what Ronda doing the match? Look, I have always said this about the MMA 4 horsewomen. The best one who's had the wrestling career out of the four of them is Shayna. My favorite of the four is Shayna. I love Shayna. I can't say it enough how much I love Shayna Baszler. But fuck. I don't want to see her and Toni Storm in a one-on-one match. I don't want to see a tag match. Don't bring in Shayna for this because it would make no sense. But I think good.
Mike, I don't think they can bring back Shayna.
Is she signed to WWE?
I'm almost certain
because if she's still doing, but she's still doing indie shows.
Yeah,
she's still able to do indie shows. But remember, they only have her as a coach. She's not she's not a wrestler.
Yeah.
So if they have her under contract for anything, it is strictly to be a coach.
So she's still
or whatever. Or yeah, I'm a coach. I'm sorry, my bad. I bumbled my words. Yeah, I believe she's still a coach in WWE.
Yeah,
but yes, and I think it was this past weekend that she was at a house show or was at someone else's promotion, and I believe Shotzi was wrestling her.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. It was on social media, but anyways, the fact is that she's out there. And she's out there doing stuff.
Well, my thing is, she even said, like, I'm not signed, but I'm there as a coach from time to time, but I can still do the indies.
Yeah, indies, she said. Now, I would not be shocked if they didn't have some sort of agreement with her where, you know, she's free to do the indies, but not AEW.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Now, personally, would I love to see Shayna in AEW just cleaning house? Just wrecking everybody? Oh yeah, like her run in NXT was fucking legendary.
That was the best run of her career. That was literally the best run of her career.
I would not want to mess with that woman. She scares me.
She does, and I think it was great to see her with the NXT thing on the build to the underground match with Kalani, Lynn Lola. My thing though too is, man, like I have no desire to see the timeless love bombs against the MMA 4 horsewomen. I think that's gonna suck. I legit don't want to see that. I think that legit is going to suck. But if we get it, fine. Ronda can have a tag match with Marina on a pay-per-view and then just get the fuck out and do your fight.
And then you know what's going to happen? She's going to rant and rave about, or she's going to rant against Tony.
I love you. Fuck you, Tony. So we move on from Tony to someone who we do love to talk about, and that is the one, the only Bailey. And Bailey made a surprise appearance at Reina de Reinas, and she issued an open challenge of Rey de Reyes with Flamer. And I got to say, I watched that match back after our last show. That match was fantastic. I was really happy to see her there. And Bailey did comment on social media about the experience. And she said, and I quote on the Raw recap, "That was the best. I love wrestling in Mexico. That's the thing. You can't ever be content or comfortable. I just want to do more and I want to meet more people. I want to perform in front of more people. And the fact I got asked to do that was an honor. For one thing, it's one of their biggest shows of the year and against the women's champion who just broke a record and became the longest reigning women's champion. To me, that's a huge honor. And it's a little tip of the cap to me. It's hard in this business to actually keep it a secret. So I was very excited to be able to hide from everybody and really show up where literally nobody knew I was there. I was personally very overwhelmed by the response, and it just made everything so worth it. That is what is most important to me, that no matter what, everywhere in the world, people recognize how much and what I feel about this, and that I don't care if I do it here. I don't care if I do it there. I don't care if I do it in TNA. I care about this, and I will always give my whole heart to them. They will always get the real me." I love that because she has met many times. Like her and Chelsea Green wanted to do some stuff with the TNA wrestlers. We saw Chelsea Green in AAA. We got Bailey in AAA. It was a nice surprise. We need to see more of this.
Absolutely.
Man, yes. I wholeheartedly agree.
You know, I have said this for years and years and years, but of the 4 horsewomen,
yep,
Bailey, I honestly, with my whole heart, believe she was the most talented. She is the most talented out of the 4.
I mean,
and I think, you know, she's also the most underappreciated of all of them. I think she's one of those people, she could have a good run with anybody. She could give anybody a good match. And she's also the rare type that can be great as both a heel and a face.
I agree with that.
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Now,
tell me when I'm telling lies.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Pepsi Phil.
So the other thing we mentioned is Santos Escobar is set to undergo tricep surgery. So we wish nothing but the best for Santos Escobar. And he got injured at the Rey de Reyes. Santos Escobar coming back. We see him in AAA. Perfect fit for AAA. Doing nothing really with the Legado de Fantasma. We still have Los Guards on SmackDown. The LWO has kind of been MIA. So, I mean, I'm happy that they got Santos Escobar working. But I hope he does have a successful surgery. That sucks to see. Ray's hurt.
Yeah.
Hurt. Now we got Santos hurt.
Yeah, he's going to be out for about 4 months.
So we wish Santos nothing but the best going forward.
And he had that thing going on with oh my God, I'm blank on the name.
Which one?
El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.
Yes. And he told him on I think it was after the I think it was the interview backstage. He said that that when he comes back from his injury, that he's going to come after him. So we'll get that match.
I'm looking forward to that.
Same. And I will say this, a lot of things that we're looking forward to. We got 2 final topics here. This one we will touch. Evil, and Hiromu Takahashi are expected to sign with WWE. This is crazy.
Not Dr. Evil?
$1 million. $1 million. From the Super J cast, in case Lowe says, Evil reportedly wants to start in NXT to assimilate to WWE and American TV, but WWE wants him on the main roster. Evil wants to keep his same gimmick. Hiromu is expected to be starting in NXT. 2 great signings for WWE. Evil, I loved his run in Ring of Honor, New Japan, Los Ingobernables de Japón. Same with Hiromu Takahashi, the matches with Will Ospreay. Like 2 great additions to friggin' WWE. I'm excited to see where they go. How about you guys?
Absolutely. I do agree with Evil. I think it would be good to give him at least like the Stephanie Vaquer, Julia run in NXT, not a super long run. Get him used to the WWE style, get the fans aware of him, because if you bring him to WWE, the internet crowd's going to know them, but the average fan, they're not, and they're just going to be like, who
is he?
I mean, luckily it worked out well for Danhausen. Cat tax. But is it necessarily gonna work with Evil? I don't think so. So I think it's best to start him in NXT. Let him be who he is. Don't give him some bullshit name like Caesar Sokoa.
Oh, God. That was originally going to be Jacob Fatu's name.
Keep him as evil, like capitalized EVIL.
Yeah,
Have them keep their names.
I think you have to, because if you, and I mean, at least in, I don't know, like, you know what? It would be the same thing like Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yep.
He was same name he had in New Japan, so keep it. Don't change it. Keep it.
And
Well, that's also his real name. So
yes.
Well,
also,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not Talatonga.
Not
or
Talatonga.
Talatonga. Yes, we know he's tall.
And with Takahashi, I could definitely see him going for the North American title. Like, he's got a lot of people he can work with. I think him and Elio LaFleur would have a great match. Like, he could have a great match with anyone in NXT. So give me that.
Can we have him bring back Daryl the Cat?
I would hope so. That was a huge part of
Bring back Daryl Takahashi.
Daryl
Takahashi. Dude, look how much money WWE has made off of Layeska puppets.
That and Danhausen's t-shirts. Let's go.
Look how much they have made off Demonito replicas.
The Demonito, yes.
The money's there.
Whew. Speaking of money, I will add this as our last topic because we hit so many things that are money. This was money on the fact of how hilarious this clip was. So it's JBL and Hornswoggle talking about something that happened with Matt Cardona. And this was on the, I believe, a Curtain Jerkers podcast or whatever JBL show was. But this had me dying.
You had a traumatic event.
I was not
traumatic.
there.
I mean, traumatic. You don't even know what I'm talking about yet.
I do know what you're talking about.
No, you don't. What am I talking about?
The time Festus broke in to the tanning room that Zack Ryder was in, and Zack was having his alone time.
He was what?
Having alone time.
Doing what? What do you do in your alone time?
What do you do in your alone time, John?
I read.
I eat.
Read. Do you?
Yeah.
Yes, so eats. What do you do?
What do I do?
What does Zack Ryder do?
It's time to himself, John.
That's alone time. That's the definition of alone time. That's you're defining alone time and say, oh, he's alone.
Yes.
What is he doing alone time? He's alone.
He was masturbating.
He was where?
In the tanning bed.
In the tanning bed. This is at home?
Nope.
This is a public tanning bed.
Some may say.
He was in somebody's commercial tanning bed.
Yeah.
Flogging his heel.
I don't know what flogging is.
Whacking off.
It's aggressive.
Some may say.
Aggressive.
Did he not lock the door?
I don't know.
Well, did Festus pick the door lock?
Nope.
So he didn't lock the door.
Correct.
So it's like an invitation. Come on in. Like put on.
Not-
Come on in. I'm in here
not an
flogging my
invitation.
mule.
Stop saying flogging your mule.
What would you like to call it? What makes you comfortable?
Alone time.
Well, I don't think that jerking off in a tanning bed is not really alone time. It's kind
It's
of
not a long time.
Yeah.
No, and he leave the door open.
Especially in public.
I don't think
He
meant,
left the door
I
open.
don't think he meant to leave the door open, John.
What did Festus do when he walked in?
Ah!
What'd Zach do?
Ah! Is that what you want, John?
No, I don't want none of this. This is like traumatic.
Bradshaw.
So Zack Ryder likes to eat in the tanning beds. Look, growing up
flogging the log.
Growing up on Long Island, I have frequented some tanning salons. The tanning salon that I lived near was one called the Copacabana. Did I ever think I'm going to jerk off in the tanning bed or the stand-up tan bed at the Copacabana?
Lies. Before you even get to that sentence, lies.
Esmeralda could probably tell you that was a lie.
First of all, I would not jerk off in the tanning bed at the Copacabana. No, I would not. Shout out to the Copacabana.
He said at the
Copacabana. Paul, your thoughts on this story? Zack Ryder pulling the ball.
You know, you always hear some funny ass stories when you come from any former wrestler. The shit that Teddy Long used to say about getting high in the back seat, or he used to be in the back seat, and Mark Henry was like, "Man, what's going on, man?" He goes, Mark Henry got out of the car or he was still sitting in the car and he was higher than a motherfucker. He was like, man, you guys got to stop. I need to ride with somebody else, man. I need to ride with somebody else because he was higher than shit. You hear all these funny stories, whether it be Undertaker with him and JBL, the funny stories that they used to say, him and Midian,
the Godfather,
some of the funny stories that they got. He actually had Hornswoggle on his show too, so he was over there talking
Tommy Ball.
Tommy Ball. But yeah, they all have these funny ass stories, and the fact that Zack Ryder, shout out to Matt Cardona for flogging his log.
Flogging the log.
Spanking the dog, spanking the monkey.
I feel like somebody needs to interview Gallows.
Slapping the dolphin.
Somebody needs to interview Gallows, get his side of the story, and we got to hear from Cardona too. Like this door has been opened figuratively.
Welcome to Pandora's box. Guess what? It's open.
I got to at least hear Gallows' side of this.
There was a story from, and I'll mention this before we sign off, the Talk is Jericho podcast from 2016, one of Cody's last podcasts before he left to go to TNA and start his run in 2016. So him and Cardona were on talking about going to Disneyland together and their relationships, and he talked about the time that Cody Rhodes started a rumor in the locker room that Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins were pecker checkers, and he made it up and pretty much said that Cardona and Ryder were pecker checkers and the like, and friggin' Myers and Cardona were pecker checkers, which was not true. It was just Cody Rhodes saying, "Hey man, they're a bunch of pecker checkers.
You got to grab my pecker.
Gotta grab my pecker." It's not funny, but the way Tony told it, it's just like, dude, like you're randomly just gonna be like, yeah, he grabbed my he tried to grab my pecker. He was the booker. What was I supposed to do? I'll tell you what.
I'm telling you, the stories that they have on the road. Even listening to Ric Flair when he tells the story, and it's like it goes completely off the wall, and it's like the rails are gonna the rails, the pick, the spikes that are freaking holding the rails together. Everything is coming off.
I do quite enjoy the story that Undertaker told about rooming with Iron Sheik. That's probably one of my favorites.
Same here. Friggin' the air conditioner. Bubba.
He goes, Bubba. Bubba. He goes, gotta get the curl on my. You hear the blow dryer, and he's like, wait a second, what the hell? He goes, Sheik ain't got no hair. And you go in the bathroom, and he's over there with a brush, and he's over there got the blow dryer, and he's Bubba, gotta get my mustache nice and perfect, nice and curled.
You gotta take a shit.
You gotta take a shit.
I'll get out of the bathroom for you. You gotta take a shit.
He goes, no, just turn the damn thing off. We gotta get up in a little while. Okay, Bubba.
Okay, Marky Bubba.
It's okay, Marky Bubba.
When he had the fucking door open, when he had the sliding door open, and it was like 20 degrees outside, and he was
using those.
Oof.
I don't know what they're fucking called.
I know. I don't even remember what the hell he called them, anyways. But I know what they are, and those fucking things are heavy as fuck.
Yes, they are. Well, I will say this: stories and everything is what makes shows and moments and memories and podcasts worth it. And we hope you enjoy this edition of the RWT podcast. We will be back again very, very soon. And before yes, we will. Before we close this out, Daniel, what do we got cooking on the Pundit and the TSK?
Pundit should be dropping within a couple days, probably Friday, realistically. Kicking it with the TSK. We did record a Revolution review. Hopefully that should be out soon. I'm not 100% certain. Mike and I are recording an episode, I believe, Friday. Mike, what's the topic of de jour?
So we have 2 episodes coming. So we're halfway through season 4.
We're halfway there.
Oh, living on a prayer. Not season 4. Where are we at? Season 4 or season 5? I think we're at
5.
Yeah, we're 5. Excuse me. So the next shows that we got our boy Robert Davis coming on. We're going to talk about the history of the Bullet Club. Our 6th episode as well, we were going to be looking back since it is WrestleMania time. What went wrong with John Cena's heel turn? And then we have Mo coming on for Bash at the Beach, Beer coming on talking about Bill Goldberg. And so much more to finish. And we will have Paul back on as well very soon because we will watch the Chi-Town Rumble, much like you did with Moses Marquez. Since you had a good show with that, we will rewatch the Chi-Town Rumble. I will definitely watch that. After what you put us through with the AWA, fuck AWA. Hi, Moses.
Fuck AWA.
Watch the Chi-Town Rumble.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Sorry, Mo. I subjected you
Fuck
to
the
that.
Hulk Hogan.
Fuck the Hulk Hogan. But there's
okay. So let me say this.
Yes.
I'm sorry to my esteemed co-hosts of this show that I subjected you to such a horrible pay-per-view. And to Moses Marquez, fuck the Moses Marquez.
Fuck the Moses.
But hey, I apologize for subjecting you to that one too. And you're welcome.
Oh, so with that being said, we did mention the pundit and the TSK. Paul, where can we follow you? The floor is yours.
No, the Dead Man of RWT is right there. You can follow me on Twitter. My link tree is in the bio. Of course, I don't know if you don't really want to look for it there. It will be in the link down below, which you can find me. All my social media is on there. Mr. Michael Larkin, my brother from another mother. Where can we find you besides Pornhub?
Thank you. Well, you can find me on St. Louis Rollin' on Dubs, country grammar style. No. If you want to follow me, it's SM Show 1 or MCL92 on the Twitter front. Instagram is Larkin_92 and MLarkinMB. And, of course, StephenMikeShow.com and LFCfights.com. You can check out Stephen Mike. You can check out Uncaged. You can check out the RWT podcast, Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling, on the Mike with Mike LFC podcast, and more on the channel. I was recently doing my thing on Revolution Road for Max Wrestling, where Stevie Nicks and I retained the Max tag titles against Cypher, Corey, and Blade Rodriguez, or as my esteemed tag team partner called him, Bunny Rodriguez. So that was very funny to be a part of that little tag team occurrence.
At least he didn't call him Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
Benny and the Jets. But besides that, it was a hell of a show, and you could definitely ride like the wind and still standing tall with we were still standing with those tag titles. Elton John, friggin' Christopher Cross, and Michael McDonald. Boom. Anyway, we digress. So, for Daniel Cribbins, for the Dead Man of RWT, Paul Morales, my name is Mike Larkin. We will see you in the next RWT podcast. And as always, fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Fuck the Hulk Hogan.
See ya.
For the love of God, Tony, please do not sign Ronda. Don't do it. Don't.
He already did, I guarantee.
Friggin' resting bitch face Rousey is on the next edition of Dynamite, for God's sake. Biatch.